So I love the fact of you saying going through, because I have to know that if you are a young Black creative in this day and time, you really kind of pushed your way and evolved tremendously through the pandemic. What is like one area that you've really had to push through, even though you haven't wanted to? It was a bit of adversity, something along the way in building your business.
Oh man, the self-doubt is crazy. Because even when you have the receipts, I am an athlete at heart, so it's always about, okay, that's so cute that you did it last year.
Yeah.
You can't do it again.
Can you do it again?
Can you do it bigger?
Yeah.
Can you do it better?
Yeah.
And there's always that moment where you're really wrestling with yourself. And I think it does get easier, but at the same time, I think because, we have 60,000 thoughts a day, 80% of those thoughts we had yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's remapping your mind. And if you're telling yourself over and over again, you can't do it again. Like, you're believing it. And so for me, it's really seeing those thoughts go by and recognizing those aren't all my thoughts. And I have the power to say, we've done that before.
Yeah.
We're going to do it again. But it's the self-doubt is, it's very real.
Remapping your mind.
Yeah.
So is there an affirmation or a mantra that you repeat to yourself on a daily basis?
The only way out is through. The only way out is through. Because you want to just stop. It's so hard. It's pressure, it's public, people can see it, and you want to just stop, run upstate, watch Lifetime movies, and I think you just got to remind yourself, the pressure is a privilege.
The pressure is a privilege.
It's a privilege to have these kind of problems. It's a privilege to say, I'm going to look at this team of 30 Black, brilliant people, and we're going to decide how many cities we're going to next year. It's a privilege, and so just reminding yourself that you prayed for this, so you can't throw it away now.
So you've been prepared.
You've been prepared. You're built for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that. For you to have that mindset at your age, I feel like is a real testament even to our audience, because most of our audience is in this demographic. And they're always looking for, how do I get through to the next level? How do I kind of persevere? What's that level of determination that I have to have? And I think that you're a shining example of that.
Thank
but
you.
I know that comes with sacrifice.
Yeah.
So what's one thing you've had to sacrifice along the way?
I think one of the sacrifices I've had to make, one is just being comfortable. There were times I was really upset that I couldn't just sit in my corporate role and go to work every day. I kind of said, why must you make things difficult?
Why are you disrupting?
Why, girl?
Why have you been called to be a disruptor?
Right. It's comfortable here, stay here, it's safe here. And so I think, that, but I also think, going back to the sacrifice in your early 20s, when you want to be super outside and having discipline to say, I got to write this business plan today. And there were times, I have very understanding friends, but there were times where we were going on a bar crawl or they were going to Lake Lanier and I was in my apartment working all day, especially with a full-time job. I do my full-time job all day, get done with that around 7. I'd come home, eat a little bit of dinner, and then I'd work from like 8 to 1 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Sacrifice. And pushing through. All right. So I have a real question for you right now, because you talk about sacrifice, you talk about pushing through, but what is life teaching you right now? What is life teaching you?
Wow. Oh, I love that question, Brandi. I really do.
Because you're at that age, like you're in that 33 spot, everybody says it's your Christ year, it's your Jesus year,
That's
it's
right.
your all the things, right? So what is life teaching you right now?
Right now, I really am learning about a full life. Going back to, this is when I work, this is when I play, and I'm so excited because it's limitless. And I think, for a little while there, I had such tunnel vision. All I could see was work. That's all I could see. And I just thought, I gotta work.
Yeah.
And my sister, Naila, really helped me. She said, Imani, I would look at the weekend. I would look at the weekend. I'd say, okay, Friday, happy hour, then I'm gonna work. Then Saturday, I'll get up, work out, coffee, then I'm gonna work. Sunday, maybe a brunch, then I'm gonna work.
Yeah.
That's beyond. Now, if it's go season, I hear you.
Yeah.
That is not a life.
Yeah.
And that's what my life looked like. And so kind of post-COVID, it's just, I'm a completely different person.
COVID changed everybody, didn't it?
Everybody's mind. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, we don't have to live like this? And so sometimes I'm like, what am I gonna do with this free time? It's like, you're gonna have a life.
Yeah.
And so the other day, I was on Instagram. Rick Ross, he was flying a remote control airplane. And I thought, I want a remote control car. And I went and I bought a remote control car. Now in the morning after coffee, I drive it around my living room. My sister came over, she was like, I didn't expect. But all the little things that, baby Imani longed for, she got them then, but she can really appreciate them now. So right now I'm focused on leaning into wonder, leaning into like childhood play, and like really seeing people. Because I think you do get into chapters of your life where there's so much going on that people are talking and you're already in tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like right here, like I am here.
Being present.
And I see you truly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could have said that like 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. I could be in a place but not be there at all.
So do you have a daily regimen or practice or ritual that you do? Whereas like some people, I have to work out in the morning, right? I get up and that's the first thing I do is go work out because I know that part of my day is done and I prioritize myself.
Oh, I love that.
So what is that one thing that you have to do besides your coffee? Because I did hear that coffee is a must for you.
I must, must. I like to write things down. If I don't write it down, it's not real.
Yeah.
But I also have to be careful because as an athlete, I was very regimented, but it started to control me. Meaning like if I didn't do that one thing, then I was like, oh no, I won't win the race. And so anytime I feel like something mentally, even coffee, there will be times where I'm like, you don't get coffee today. Because I don't want to be addicted to anything.
Okay.
I want to have power over my life. And
Okay.
even with coffee, now I'm drinking matcha right now. I'm like, I love it. But I'm like, nothing will control me. And I think that might be just the oldest child in me. I'm a little bit rebellious.
So you're the oldest child?
Oldest of 4, yeah.
Because your sisters, is all girls or?
3 girls and then a boy.
Okay, but they're your best friends?
Best friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what have your sisters taught you that you've applied to your business practice?
My sisters have taught me so much. They're my anchors. And no matter how big anything gets, they'll always see me as a 6-year-old snag-a-tooth running down the backyard. And you need that. You need people who don't take you quite so seriously. My sister Naila, I call her my older sister, but she's younger than me. But she really helps to remind me that trials are a part of life, that you need the valleys so that you can celebrate the hills. And I used to really, I would get stuck in the valleys, and I would say, this is defining me, and I would believe everything that I heard in the valley. So I'd have a setback or a letdown, and I would fully embody all of that weakness into my identity. And she's done such amazing work to reminding me that's not who you are.
Yeah.
It's a chapter of your life.
Yeah.
And I think that distinction is so important because I tell myself, Imani, you can't believe anything you think 2 weeks before CultureCon. Nope.
Your mind is not right.
She's not your friend right now. This is survival mode.
Yeah.
So, and then same thing though, you can't believe anything you think 2 weeks after CultureCon, because that's also not totality of who you are. Yes, Tracy Ellis Ross was there. Yes, Will Smith loved the people, but somewhere between those 2 hills and valleys is actually the truth. These other 2 extremes, you just got to let it like wash over you. Yeah.
So you grew up with parents that were ministers.
Yeah.
And so I have to kind of believe that when you're in the middle of a valley, that there is some story, some biblical allegory that you pull from.
Oh yeah.
Give me one.
It's David. I love David.
Listen, David is like the theme, okay? Darius Daniels was just here. We talked about David.
You did?
Yeah, because he uses it a lot in his teachings.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
David because David really is, I think, the definition of hills and valleys.
Yeah, absolutely.
King had everything.
Yeah.
Then he's in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And I love, I was asking my friend about this. I'm curious, when you're kind of going through it, do you like upbeat, happy things, or do you like to see that other people have gone through it as well?
I don't know. I like, when I'm going through stuff, I need a good Negro spiritual child. I need Listen, I need something that's like trouble don't last always. I need somebody to be shouting in the back. Okay.
Yes. I'm the same way. I need to feel anchored in that other people have faced trials and they've gone through it. So that's why I love my guy David. So
give me one lesson, because I talked about with Dr. Daniels about how I think David is like that true story of personal development. Yeah. You get from anointing, when this is what is going to be in your life, and then you get the ascension, right, of him becoming king and all of the things. One of the things that we talked about last week on the show was the biggest thing about David was not the fight itself. Mm-hmm. It was the fact that he was able to look at King Saul and say, I cannot wear what doesn't fit me. I can't wear what doesn't fit me. Mm-hmm. And so in your position, have you had times when you were wearing things that didn't fit you? Maybe it was people's beliefs, maybe it was expectations, some things that didn't fit you.
I don't know if I've ever worn things that don't fit me. I do think, though, I've entered closets that weren't, I shouldn't have even been in that house. And when I get into the other people's closets or their ideas of what things should be, it feels foreign. It feels like I shouldn't be there. And I think one of the greatest things that I think God's given me is discernment. And so when I was younger, Brandi, I needed to know. I would see some smoke and I'd say, well, smoke means fire. Yeah. But I got to know. Yeah. So I would go down the path trying to understand. Yeah. And now I'm able to see that smoke is happening and there's discernment. You know, you get the spidey senses. Yeah. It's like, I don't really need to know the cause of the fire. I'm gonna just back out of this one. And so I think as you are moving in life, you know, you don't want to move from a place of fear. You want to move from a place of abundance. But you gotta it goes back to trusting yourself. Yeah. A lot of times I think we're like, oh, it couldn't be. It's got to be, and we're just second guessing ourselves. And now, when I feel it and I hear it and I know it to be true, I don't really have to look around the corner to figure out why. I'm gonna just head out. I'm gonna head out. Yeah.
Okay, so David is your go-to. That's that go-to story.
David, Joseph, and Job. Those are my three guys.
David, Joseph, Job. Give me the reasons why Joseph and Job.
Joseph, because he was the youngest, kind of disadvantaged. Everyone was like, we're not paying attention to Joseph. And ends up getting sold into slavery, ends up getting thrown into jail. And from the lowest place, Pharaoh brings him to the highest place. And he just was so faithful. And so I think it just goes to show you could be anywhere in your journey right now, but like the story's not over. And so there were days, you know, I was a coordinator running Getting Coffee for like 3 years. And there were people that were coming and getting promoted quicker. And I just thought, like, is this my destiny? I'm just going to be overlooked forever. But it's not the end of the story. So that's why I love Joseph. Job had everything and it was all taken away. And I think a lot of times when things are going really bad, we're like, why am I being punished? Why are all these horrible things happening to me? But I think Job kept his eyes on the higher place. And I think if you can think of like the higher place, that's what's helped me. It can sustain you. And when you're on the valley, just remember that feeling. You're gonna need to hold that sunshine when you go back down.
Yeah, because it's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain. Yeah. And you wouldn't enjoy this victory as much if you hadn't worked for it, if you hadn't gone through something. So I just think, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. And it goes back to James Baldwin. He says, you think you're the only person who's experienced heartbreak, and then you read. So you're not the first person to be overwhelmed. And I just find such like solace in knowing that like people have done this. They've done hard things before.
Yeah. And you've been wired for hard things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been wired for hard things. Okay, so my last question to you as we wrap up is, what are you committed to in this season? Because I know you are all about the childlike Imani and finding those things that bring you that joy. But what are you committed to?
I think right now I'm committed to encouraging others, because I think there were times where I had an empty well. I didn't really have it to give.
Yeah.
But I think about those times where I got encouragement from other people who just said, I've been there.
Yeah.
I know, but keep going. And so I want to do that for other people now that I've kind of had a few circles around the mountain. And so I've got friends who are kind of starting out in entrepreneurship or trying to grow in the corporate role, and they're overwhelmed, they're discouraged. And so I just want to pour life into them and encourage them, I think, in this season.
Encouragement.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. One word you're living by right now. One word.
Trust.
Trusting yourself, trusting others, trusting God.
Ooh. Trusting myself.
Trusting it all, girl.
Felt that in a spiritual. Trusting myself and trusting myself, trusting others, trusting God.
Yeah. I love that. So look, I am so excited for everything that you have coming up. You got CultureCon coming up next month in June.
That's right.
In Los Angeles. You got big things on the horizon. I am so grateful that you decided to come and talk to us at Vault. You guys, look, if you are not following Imani on all her social platforms, go ahead and hit that, click it, Imani on all social platforms. And one thing that you want to leave our audience with before we close out.
You can do hard things.
You can do hard things. You've been wired for hard things. It has been my pleasure to be with you guys today. Make sure you are following and subscribe to the Vault Village. We got more empowering, encouraging things on the way. Trust and believe that. So I'm Brandi Harvey. Imani, thank you so much for joining us. Vault Empowers Talks. We'll see you next time. Peace. What an amazing interview series. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Imani Ellis as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. What a phenomenal conversation with an amazing young woman. Don't forget to drop a comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Get 5 people to join the conversation here at Vault. I don't want you to miss a thing, so go ahead and hit that red button right now. Join the Vault Village, and we'll see you next time. Peace.